So people are saying that the big three needs to be replaced, or at least one of them. Now, I've heard multiple people saying this for a long time, but what are my thoughts on it? Let's get into it. What is the big three? The big three is three established mangas that were released at relatively the same time, from 1999, 2000, all the way to 2004. One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach. Now, these three cultivated the pathways to many mangas and animes in the future. They had the highest amount of manga sales at the time. They were the most popular at the time and carried the 2000s and early 2010s into 2015s when it came to their influence and how much popularity they had. That is what the big three is. It's about when they were released mostly, which is that early 2000s, and that they carried that popularity over into the late 2000s, 2010s, and all the way up to 2015, really. And now, yes, One Piece is still going, and Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, which is part of Bleach, which is the final arc, is coming out currently as well. The thing with this is, people keep forgetting that it means when they were released. Early 2000s, so keep that in mind. Big three has to do when they were released and their popularity, and that they cultivated generations of popularity throughout the years. The problem we're seeing a lot of new anime fans coming into the community and saying that, especially, I feel like it's Bleach and One Piece don't deserve to be in the big three. Two of them for very different reasons, but I highly disagree with this. You cannot replace any single one in the big three, because remember, it's about when they were released and what dates they were released, those early 2000s. Now, people also forget the cultural and massive significance within the anime and manga community that Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece had on all the other mangas and future works that people did within the anime industry. You can't replace that impact. You can't replace that influence. People are saying, especially on TikTok and Twitter, you see newer fans especially, I wouldn't say many old fans probably think this, that Demon Slayer or Jujutsu Kaisen should be replacing Bleach especially. I see that a lot, mostly Bleach. People need to remember that a lot of newer works are actually highly influenced by Bleach, and the creators have said this themselves. You can look it up. Even the JJK author said they really love Bleach and are heavily inspired by Bleach, which is very evident in the series. You can see a lot of references, direct physical evidence towards the correlation of the impact that Bleach had on Jujutsu Kaisen. Do I think that the big three should be replaced? No. Do I think a member of the big three should be replaced by another? No, I don't. This is what I will say and what I will think is the best way I can put it, which will be most animes now need to have their new name and their own thing. We have the big three already. We don't need another. In conclusion, no one can replace the big three, and no one can replace one of the big three with anything new. We have Sinister Six, which I think is a great one, or we can at least just have the new gen big three, which is like your new gen shows that everybody's going on about. But the whole point of replacing the big three is just this new uptick in a lot of new fans coming into the community that haven't maybe even watched the big three, but have watched newer stuff and think, oh, what is the big three? They go and research it and they're like, oh, that doesn't make sense. These shows are bigger and better at the moment. But overall, these shows are bigger and more popular, so they can't be replaced when it comes to popularity anyway. Then they gotta go realize, thanks to people like myself and other fans saying, it's about the time they come out. So you can't just go and get these new fans saying, oh, we need to get these new mangas and replace the big ones from the big three because these are better and these are more popular. And they have more manga sales, some of them, than like Bleach or Naruto. Which is very rare because One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach are all in the top 10 most sold mangas of all time. So it is very hard to already compete on that manga sales level. Now, in conclusion, as I said, have a new name. Find something new. Find something different. Call it something else. Like, I think the Sinister Six was perfect. Chainsaw Man, Solo Leveling, Hell's Paradise, stuff like that. A lot more darker shows are coming out now than back then. If darker shows are coming out, Sinister Six sounds so normal, so nice, so crisp. It logically makes sense. Or New Gen Big Three. Jujutsu, My Hero, and I don't know, Demon Slayer. You could do that. But you cannot replace history. That's like if I go and rewrite the history of the world. I can't just do that, so you can't do that with the big three either. Remember, the big three, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach. And if you haven't watched them, you should all have at least watched every single one once in your lifetime, because I think they're great shows, so go make sure to check out One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach.